Everything you need to know for Path to Nowhere's 3rd anniversary story. Starting off, this is Hela. Hela is one of the main characters in Path to Nowhere. You meet her as early as Chapter 1. She is like your partner in crime as the chief of MBCC. She's like your favorite sinner. She's your, basically, daughter. And she, at some point in the main story, decides to leave MBCC and go out on her own so that she can go out and become stronger. She felt bad because she was not able to save her friend. She was not able to help as much as she wanted to. So she went out to become stronger. And when she left MBCC, she ended up joining up with Horo and the Legion. Horo is right now currently the de facto leader of the Legion, and they are out in White Sands hunting for an underground object called the Inheritance. Horo and Hela both have previous experience with the Inheritance, and they know that it's a very powerful mania device that can cause black rings to erupt. So they are hunting down this Inheritance, trying to figure out and trying to prevent a black ring from exploding. Well, on their journey, Hela meets some very nice friends. Some adventures went a little better than others. I wouldn't really put Hela behind the wheel. But at the end of the day, Hela does go start her journey to become stronger. She meets friends like Corin, and she meets friends like Hipatia. Hipatia is the lead researcher on a Fraser technology. Fraser is an opposing city-state to Dis City. So Dis City is its own like nation. Fraser's a second nation. And Hipatia is their lead Aurum Secretum researcher in Fraser. Now, Aurum Secretum is this technology that is supposed to replace hypercubes. It's a hypercube alternative. But what we figure out later is that Aurum Secretum comes from very nefarious origins, very questionable origins, and it's not the best thing in the world. It's actually kind of evil. But Hipatia is doing her best to find the good in Aurum Secretum and not necessarily the bad. Well, this character, she is part of the Fraser-like head family. Like, there's a leading family called the Campbells that pretty much rule over Fraser as like a monarchy. And Hipatia is one of the members of the Campbell family, but she does not share the same beliefs as her brothers and sisters. Hipatia wants to use Aurum Secretum for good, to help the people, while the rest of her family wants to use it to fight Dis City. So she has to make a hard choice and ends up siding with Hela to help out the people rather than her family. And that leads us to the next part of our journey with Sinx. This is Sinx. She was in the part 1 of the anniversary story. And Fraser is using their Aurum Secretum research to try and force Sinx to resonate with the Inheritance and cause a black ring explosion. So, in order for the black ring to succeed, they need a conduit. They need a living body to sort of take in all of that mania and cause it to erupt. And Sinx was strong enough for Fraser to use as a vessel to create a black ring using the Inheritance. Now, we'll get more down to Sinx later, but I will say that Sinx is also the one who fed information about the Inheritance to Horo. Sinx is the reason why Horo knows about the Inheritance, and Sinx very slyly slipped and leaked some information to the Legion in a sly, maybe desperate call for help. Sinx also leaked that information to Sibella. Sibella is just a random civilian, but she traveled from deep within White Sands all the way to Dis City to try and warn Dis City what Fraser was doing, that Fraser was planning to cause a black ring to explode. Now, Sibella made some very high-profile friends along the way, and she used those high-profile friends to successfully spread her word to Dis City. Like, hey, guys, you're in peace talks with Fraser right now. Don't listen to them. They're lying behind your back. They are actively trying to create a black ring. But, it was a little too late. We'll get more back to Sibella later, but Sibella's warning did not reach in time. This is the Inheritance that Fraser was using to try and infect Sinx. And through the help of the Legion, and through the help of Hela working through the Legion, Sinx was able to escape from the Black Ring. She was able to escape the ritual and prevent the Black Ring from exploding. They all took like a magic carpet ride across several large monsters and escaped. They solved the problem. The Black Ring was not going to erupt. Hela succeeded. But then there's this dumbass. This is Safar. And Safar is an idiot. He realized what Fraser was doing. Safar is from Fraser. He realized what Fraser was doing, and he became hopeless. And he ran into this idea that there's no way that Safar can stop Fraser from activating the Black Ring. So Safar's solution to not being able to stop the Black Ring was to lead a cult across the desert. That's Safar in the front and a cult behind him. And then they were going to set up a mania ritual themselves, and they were going to cause the Black Ring instead. Because the only way to stop Fraser from having the Black Ring was for them to create the Black Ring instead. That's right. Safar's a fucking dumbass. He couldn't stop it, so he made it himself. Now, to be fair, he did put it in a much less convenient location for Fraser, so he did kind of fuck Fraser over, but Safar's dumbass actually fucked everyone over, including Hela. Hela was there. She saw what was happening. She knew, she had some intel what was going to happen, and she tried her best to stop it. But Hela was too late. And in fact, she was right there at Ground Zero and ended up being a part of the Black Ring explosion herself. This is why we have a Hela altar, because Hela is very much the source of the Black Ring right now, or at least to the best of our current knowledge. She is heavily corrupted right now, heavily influenced by mania, and we'll see how her storyline progresses as we get into the anniversary story itself. All because this dumbass decided that, he didn't like Fraser. Now, back to Sibella. Sibella, as I said, she was able to get word out to Dis City and warn Dis City that Fraser is going to ignite a Black Ring. And she was able to do that through the help of, some very high-profile friends. But unfortunately, she was too late. This is Adelaide Campbell. This is Hipatia's brother, and he does not share the same noble ideas as Hipatia. Adelaide wants Dis City to fail. Adelaide remembers a time where Dis City was warring with all White Sands, and he has held a grudge for 20, 30 years now, and he wants to see all of Dis City's downfall. He doesn't care about Fraser, he doesn't care about Dis City, he only wants to see Dis City fail. And while Sibella was warning Dis City and the general public of what was going to happen, it was too late. Adelaide was already in place. He already had Chief secluded in a remote location, and he used Aurum Secretum to resonate with the Black Ring, the newly formed Black Ring, and infect the MBC Chief of Minos, you, the main character. Now, currently, Chief survived the attack. She did not die, or he did not die, to Adelaide. But the corruption from BR005 has taken its toll and has severely weakened the Chief. The Chief is struggling to do things such as stand. Like, standing is difficult for the Chief right now. And the Chief has made some unlikely allies in the process. This is part of Discorps. It is a private military contractor used by Dis City. The Discorps have continued their sort of spy warfare against Fraser for several years now, and they have done some very Black Ops style combat with Fraser over the years. And they are led by someone named Catherine. Now, Catherine, you actually do meet in the main story. This is Catherine. Some of you guys might actually know her as Augustus, but the Chief meets her as Catherine, a very well-off, very wealthy individual who later reveals that she is actually the general of Discorps, the private military organization here. And she was the former general of the Dis City military when that still existed. So Augustus, Catherine here, it's actually both. She's actually Catherine, Augustus, and O'Hare. She is the reason why Adelaide hates the city so much, and it's maybe the cause for all the actions that have transpired to date. But now it is up to Catherine to help out with the BR-005 outbreak. And Catherine did actually help out her chief friend. She took one of her military vehicles, drove it off a cliff into a raging mania monster, and used her magnetic blade ability to defeat it, subdue it. You guys have probably seen Augustus' kit by now, and if you haven't, she's going to be the limited center on the banner. This is Catherine's ability. She's able to control metal through magnetic waves. She's kind of like Magneto in that way. She has really good control over metal spikes. And Augustus came to Chief's aid and saved her from Adelaide and the initial BR-005 attack that he initiated against us. But even though Augustus was able to save Chief in the moment, Chief is still heavily corrupted and heavily injured by the attack. And the only way for Chief to recover is to neutralize BR-005. And that's sort of where we're getting into with the anniversary event itself. It is now up to Augustus to stop Adelaide, well, Augustus and all the other friends, to stop Adelaide, Safar, alongside, and use the assistance of Hela, Horo, Hipatia. And if you guys didn't know, Hipatia and Hela are actually really close friends. Like, Hela really helped Hipatia out of a bind there, so they're close friends. So yeah, we're having Hela, Hipatia, Horo, Augustus, and Augustus's military operation that's still intact to sort of march against Adelaide and the rest of Frasier, march against Safar and his Black Ring in order to save Chief from the corruption of BR-005, and maybe Hela from the corruption of BR-005. And that's where we pick up the story of the anniversary. This is sort of where it starts, with Hela and Chief both being severely impacted by the mania of BR-005, and Augustus, Horo, maybe Sibella, maybe Hipatia, maybe Sinx, all coming together to try and stop BR-005 and neutralize it before it gets too far out of hand. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. We have the anniversary stream coming up on Tuesday. The event comes out tomorrow if you're watching this on release. And I'm looking forward to making all of the character guides and everything there. If you guys haven't already, please like the video, please subscribe, please join the channel as a Shalom lover, Shalom hater. Catch me live for the anniversary this Tuesday, and I will see you guys then. Hope y'all enjoy. Story's amazing. Peace.